Had to abandon the attempt on the bimetal heat break. It's not, the one I had is not going to work with this hot end. So what I did is the Luke's hot end fix, and you can get the little bracket that helps you cut this, but if you can make sure you cut the end square if you have a cutter. The way I like to do it is just print my washer, screw it on there, and then we want to make sure that we cut a piece that is maybe just going to collapse under a tiny bit of pressure into being flush, and that should be all you need. And I'm going to make sure that the cut on the other end isn't a little more square. Yeah, that's the one I want for this side. That's the real square side. So we'll just put all this together. We're making progress here. So now what I want to do is figure out the size tube I need. What I've done is I've slid a piece of tube up in my 3-to-1 here, and then I've marked where it sits. So now all I should have to do is slide a piece of tube in here. Show you how we do this. And do the same thing right here. I'm going to put a piece of tube in, mark it, pull it out, and measure the millimeters. I'm going to add them to this, and then I'm going to measure the distance in between right here and add that. So 3 measurements. That should give me an accurate measurement. Okay, with the camera in the way, we'll give this a shot. So I measured 55.3. I've set my calipers to 55.2. I've gotten my tube about as straight as I can get it. We're marked there. Now we just want, this one is not super critical as far as being straight, but you want it straight. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so that piece is installed and we got it right the first try. Now there is a screw for the cover that goes all the way through, and then the nut on the back helps holds this tight, so that's good. So these brackets fit really well. They're off the full version Ender 3, the mother of all Ender 3's full version. So this screen was altered. I had to cut it and I think shrink it. However, the second hole is not here on either one, and the hole that lets the wires out, you can see it should have come out right here. So we need to slide this over in CAD, add our second holes. Starting to take a little bit of shape here. So I'm waiting on the bracket for the BL Touch before I put the other screw in and tighten this down, and that'll hold it in place. I also don't have the screw that holds this tight in yet, but yeah, solid. Starting to get a little bit cluttered on this table. Might have to stop and clean some of this up. So we have printed the cover and the 2 parts of the wire chase. We printed these on a wheeled printer. I think if that's right. Yeah, these were printed on a wheeled printer. And our Ender 5 with direct extrusion. This right here was printed on our linear printer. And you can see it's just precision. So I got M3, 12 millimeter. Just going to want to go in through this hole and get them started. So they just stick out a tiny bit on the bottom. And if one's black, the other will be black here. I'll do the same thing there. Screws don't need to be this long. They can be much shorter. I mean, probably 8mm would be more than enough. Thinking that I'm gonna have to undo this. One of these to get the wire through. Alright, so the screen I'm using does not have a rotary encoder on it. I don't know if that means it, I assume that means it doesn't work in CR10 mode. But if we ever have to go into CR10 mode, we're gonna have a cable in here. Just in case. And I will show you another trick for getting these through a small hole. If you are careful and you have some fingernails, you can tear this wire like that right between, and then when it goes through the hole, it's going to be smaller. So you'll see now it's going to go through the hole a lot better now. Okay, so we have our screen holder. We have our wire chase on the back. It'll be behind the 2020. We have our chain mount. And somewhere we have... Alright, so the first time I'm going to be sliding this on is going to be on camera. So I know a lot of people get confused because it says TFT. That's more just for me, so I don't get my files mixed up, or if I have these laying around the shop. So I'm just scraping this with my fingernail in here to see if there's anything holding it up. Oh, you're looking good. Yep. So you just scrape your groove out, and the more times this slides on and off, the better it'll be. But scrape this out with your fingernail. Scrape the ends, just run your fingernail or something down there if you got a fingernail. Take any little bumps off, they're gonna fight you. And there we go. Okay, I got my TFT cable in. I have my CR10 cable on standby in case I need it. And we'll slide our cover on. This is a M5 8mm. I have some coming today, but I'm short on them. And this is going to come down right through here. And also, I will probably take this off here for more space, this loom. But I believe it all would fit, except for maybe the zip ties might cause you a little bit of an issue. Alright. And then these, of course, will go down into the case. So this has to come off a gazillion times. So we're just going to set this right here, knowing it has to come apart. We're not going to worry about putting our... That'll slide over. This will be centered. Alright. And just to get a look at the back. And that's what you look like on the back, but this will be over here. Alrighty, move right along.